Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj from the bestemailmarketer.com, and today we have Micah LaCerte. Brother, I think
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
need help with your
Yeah, I'm
second
happy
name.
to be here. You nailed it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I'm happy to be here, man.
Awesome, brother. So, for our listeners who don't know you, can you tell them who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name's Michael LaCerte, as you said. I get the privilege of waking up every single day and helping people transform their lives. I've done this for multiple decades. My wife and I, we own a couple businesses. One's called Hitch Fit. I was a pioneer in the online personal training space way back in MySpace days. And we built that to 82 countries, over 750,000 pounds lost. And then we have a gym here in my town, and then we have a retreat business as well. I'm driven off of purpose and helping people become their best.
So, how did your personal journey in fitness started? What inspired you to become a transformational coach?
Yeah, so I mean, I went through my own journey first. That's what really inspired me. I was 18 years old. I was really thin. I was struggling with anxiety, depression, and I found fitness and it really like kind of transformed the inside of me first. And, as I started strength training more, I mean, the muscles started coming on. I was an athlete growing up too. So I kind of just combined those things. And so when I went through my own journey, I was just really inspired and I was like, man, I want everybody to feel this way. And so I almost got like addicted to just helping people transform, and that's kind of where it started, and that was at age 18. And so now almost 30 years later, and we've worked with thousands of people around the world. It's just been, I mean, it's a blessing to wake up and actually do what I love doing and leading that purpose.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so your company HFit have helped over 20,000 clients. Okay, so
Yeah.
what are some of the breakthrough stories that stand out for you?
Oh man, there's quite a few of them. I think the one that comes to mind most is there was a guy named Rob, and about a month before I met him, he was in his 50s. A month before I met him, he was on vacation with his wife, and he almost died from an obesity related issue. He was 50 years old at that particular time, and he came in, and I really had a tough conversation with him. Some stuff that a lot of people would take, very disrespectfully, but I needed to talk into him because everyone around him was kind of just like yes people, and what that means is like he was overweight, he was sick, he drank a lot of beer, he was unhappy. There was no one actually speaking life into him and trying to get him better. And so I knew I needed to step in and do that. Fast forward about 2 years, we lost over 100 pounds. He would step on stage and compete. He ended up adopting two children. And then he started an organization called In the Name of Grace, and they help addicts get off the street and get clean again. So, like, transforming your body, it's more than aesthetic and it's more than muscle. It changes everything, the whole entire infrastructure about your life, not only how your mind operates, the cognitive side of things, but also if you own a business or whatnot, everything's sharper. You're going to be a better version of you the healthier you are.
Okay, so there are lots of people who are going to gym and who are fit, but still getting heart attack for some reason. Why do you think? Why is that?
I think it comes down to a couple different things. So I think, there I separate nutrition and workout and cardio into three pieces. And so people assume that if they just go to the gym itself, like that's going to be the whole fix, when we know that the nutrition side of things is the most important part of the whole entire journey, but it's also the most difficult for most people. They can go spend an hour in the gym 4 or 5 days a week, but you know, the rest of your time you're making choices with what you're consuming, your drinks and your foods every single day. And that's where people fail. And so even though we're working out and maybe we're stronger and gained a little bit of muscle or whatnot, we're still fueling our bodies with bad things. And so you can still get sick.
Okay, so how do you and Diana ensure that each clients get a personalized experience?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy for most people to like actually understand, but my wife and I operate at like warp speed all the time, and we have for many years. So we never hired anyone as far as the online side of things. And like I said, we grew that to 82 countries. We worked with over 20,000 people. That was between myself and my wife. And so our communication at that time was via email fully. So we had this system that we had created, so we were getting direct communication with people, but we weren't doing Zooms because, we started it back in like 2006, 2007, in that range. We didn't have Zoom back then, and, video was very different then. And so everything was email. We kept it email because there was no way to scale that. Getting on Zoom calls with, 300 clients a month was impossible. So we had to keep it that way, and then what we did is we built other facets of our business to be able to get more one-on-one attention, but changed pricing for that extra attention.
Hmm.
And so that's kinda how we built our tiers, but it was extremely effective. Like, sometimes people just need to be able to share something with someone and get a response, from a coach to lift them up or to get them right, and that's kind of what we created.
Okay, so what are the some common obstacles your clients face, and how do you help them overcome this barrier for lasting change?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing goes right back to nutrition. It is the biggest struggle for people because I think some people think that they can kind of outwork poor nutrition. And so they're like, I'll go to the gym and then I can go eat whatever I want. And that works when you're in your 20s. It doesn't work when you get 30 and 40 and 50 and beyond. You have to really have everything kind of tight. And so what we go in and do is we start helping them create healthy habits and really a schedule where you build these habits and a schedule each day that you're kind of following. So when they're waking up, I want to know what they do when they start their day. Are they going straight to their phone and getting into doom scrolling on Instagram? Or are they, saying, hey, I want to eat a good meal. I want to get some cardio in. I want to do so. We're creating these schedules for people that is just going to make them more effective overall, and that's a big piece of it. Keeping accountability is really important. Setting challenges for people is really important. We really started focusing on the psychology of an individual and why someone's mind was operating a certain way, and what they're really driven off of. So the closer we got to each client, we kind of figured out what each person, what their driver was, ultimately like creating a big enough why that they wouldn't quit.
Okay. Okay, so IIT or weightlifting, which one is best for weight loss and which one is best for muscle building?
Yeah, they're separated. I mean, cardio is for sure gonna be, more, on the side of endurance, more heart strength and fat loss. And then when you get in the strength training side of things, that for sure is gonna be more for bone density, for muscle building, and then obviously where your nutrition is, because if you're wanting to build lean muscle at an effective pace, you're gonna have to eat specific. When you're trying to lose fat, you got to also eat specific and be in a deficit. So you got to understand your nutrition or the fuel that you're putting into your body well enough to understand which direction you're going. And what most people, and some of your people that may be following this, think that they can do is they think that they can lose fat and build muscle effectively at the same time, and they're two very different goals. It's like me setting and saying, "Hey, I need you to gain weight and lose weight on the scale at the same time." What we know is like the fat cell and the muscle cell are two different cells in the body. Fat just shrinks in size. You don't like lose a fat cell, it shrinks in size. And then the muscle, it has to be torn and rebuild bigger. But it takes like 7 to 10 times longer to build muscle than it does to lose fat. And so that's why you can't pound for pound. You're like, "Oh, well, I wanna lose 10 pounds and gain 10 pounds of muscle. I wanna lose 10 pounds of fat, gain 10 pounds of muscle." I'm like, one is a year project, the other one is a month project. And so that's why a lot of people just don't have the education and understanding how the body actually works.
Okay, so focus should be on one, right? And then do that, then do another.
Well, I would never stop strength training. I would never stop fully doing cardio, but I would, yeah, when you're isolating and focusing on, hey, I want to trim out, I want to lose body fat, you need to focus on that. Or, hey, I want to start getting bigger, I want to put on more muscle mass, you focus on that. And the two plans are very different.
Okay, when you said two plans, like every single workout, or it's like 4 day for muscle training and 2 or 3 days for like weight loss. Is that what you mean?
So when I say plans, I just mean, like the direction at which I'm going. So I know from a nutrition standpoint that I'm going to be in a surplus of calories. I may increase my overall protein intake. I'm going to start training a little bit differently. The style at which I train is going to be a little bit more heavy, a little bit more rest time. I'm focusing and really being intentional on tearing the muscle as much as I can, and then recovering and sleeping and resting so that I can grow. And you give yourself seasons. So it may be 3 months or 6 months that you're in that phase. And then when I'm focusing on cutting, I know I have to put my calories and how much I'm consuming into a deficit, but I'm still strength training because you don't want to lose muscle mass as you're losing fat.
Mhm,
So you have to be very intentional in making sure your protein stays higher.
mhm.
That stays higher no matter if you're cutting or you're bulking. But when you're really focused on cutting down, you got to really look at the foods you're eating. You got to be really tight on nutrition because that's going to be the catalyst. And for guys, every single male that you've ever met, if they carry fat, the biggest place they carry fat is in their stomach.
Mhm.
Every single one of them. You've never seen a guy with ripped abs and legs that were overweight. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
always in the stomach. So that's the last place that comes off. To get that fully off will take the most amount of time. And it's going to have to be where you're staying consistent and disciplined enough in that plan to get down to that physique and that aesthetic that you're going for.
yep. You know what? I think it is much more better to be a stay disciplined so that we never get fat.
Correct. Correct. It's like I always tell people, I'm like, man, get yourself to a great place and you can live there the rest of your life. And plus you just operate at a higher level. It takes work to get there.
Mhm.
But I mean, I think, if you have any level of discipline, you can get to a good place.
Yeah, exactly. So how's your daily routine looks like?
My daily routine is not something that I would have many people do, but I've also done this for almost 30 years. So I was talking to you right before we got on. I wake up around 3 a.m. every morning. I get into my faith side of stuff. I make that time very intentional with how I schedule a lot of people's schedules. What are your priorities in life? And you need to have that pocket of time that are non-negotiable for you. Because maybe you have a family and you have kids and you have work. You got to make and carve out time for you in your schedule. For me, it's that early morning. So I do that. And then we have some cardio pieces like at our house. So I'll hop on like a treadmill or elliptical or a bike and get cardio in. It's also the same time I do a lot of my content creation. So when I'm on cardio, my mind and my endorphins are going high. So my creativity is very high in that peak couple hours. And then I start with meal one. My breakfast is after I get my cardio done. And then maybe a couple hours later, or wherever it fits into my schedule, I'll usually do strength training sometime later in the day after I've had a couple meals. And I work out 7 days a week, every week, and I have for years. And even when I travel. So a lot of people are like, hey man, it's hard when you travel. I travel about 50% of the year. The key is always being prepared, knowing where you're going. Do they have a kitchen? Do they have grocery store near you? Is there a gym near you? And all I'm trying to do is replicate my schedule that I have at home when I'm on the road. And that's what I do. I still carve out non-negotiable time. And then I go to bed. So people are like, dude, you wake up at 3. I go to bed anywhere like 7:30 to 8:30 is usually when I pass out.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what form of protein is best, like vegetarian or non-veg?
Well, I mean, you want to look at the most important protein when it comes to stuff like muscle building. Let's focus on the muscle building side. You need what's called a complete protein, and so there's vegetarian options that are complete. So a complete protein means it has the entire panel of amino acids that are going to be able to help you build muscle. And so, like vegans, for instance, a lot of times what they have to do is they got to pair like something like rice and bean to get a complete protein, whereas someone who may eat meat or eggs or whatnot, that is a complete protein. And so, when we look at like calories, it's harder for a vegan to get the complete protein in without calories increasing quite a bit. Because, like rice and bean, to get 30 grams of protein, is much higher in calories than, let's say, 6 ounces or so of chicken breast. And so that it's much easier if you're keeping in stuff that is complete protein. If you can do eggs or you can do whey protein, like protein shakes that you found that are good, chicken, fish, any of those sorts of things, pescatarian, if you're pescatarian, if you're vegetarian, each one of the, kind of nutrition panels is a little bit different. I think you can go in and craft it. The vegans have the hardest time. Not that there's not healthy and fit vegans,
Mhm.
but it's a challenge because you don't get the variety, and you have to be very and you really need to have a doctor to make sure that you're getting all the minerals and vitamins you need in that vegan plan. So
Yeah, so in non-veg, it's very simple compared to vegan.
yes. Yeah, I mean, it just is 'cause I eat a lot of chicken
Mhm.
myself and whatnot, and so I know how much food I need. It makes it very easy so I can really manage my calories at exactly where they need to be all the time. I'm also and this isn't gonna be for everyone, but I eat the same foods all the time, and I have for years. And I do that because I know what I feel like, I know what I look like, I know how I perform when I'm eating that way. And so it's like if you have a really nice car, you're not gonna put garbage gasoline in it, right? Like you're gonna put high octane gasoline in it because you spent a lot on this, you put a lot of time and effort in this vehicle, you're gonna put good gasoline in. It's the same way with the body. Like if you're putting bad stuff in it, you just gotta understand there's consequences to it.
Okay, so I'm guessing apart from like all the good foods you're eating, healthy foods, like do you also track this food is making me lethargic, this food is giving me more energy?
Yeah, and this is where it's really important, I think, for each individual as they go on their own health journey
Mhm.
is, someone may give you guidance and say, "Hey, you need to eat this, 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 this," but everybody's body responds differently for a carbohydrate. Like a sweet potato or brown rice or oatmeal may hit each person a little bit differently, and then what they're kind of pairing that with. So
Mhm.
if I were to eat just rice by itself, my insulin levels would spike higher than if I were to eat rice and a little bit of broccoli and a little bit of chicken, which would slow down the digestion rate of that, and your insulin wouldn't spike as high. Like there's ways of, because it's a big issue in America where we have a lot of diabetes, we have a lot of obesity, and it's just really people are just they're snacking on a lot of processed foods, and they're eating a tremendous amount of just like really junk foods. And as I travel around the world, I mean, we go to all sorts of places, and I'm like, man, a lot of the countries I think, in my opinion, are doing it better. The foods are a lot cleaner as far as not being as processed, and I think it's a big challenge here in America, but even in America, you can still choose healthy choices. And so I think that is where, we kind of come in and we're trying to educate and teach people that, if you do whole foods, it's always going to be a better option than something that's in a box and has 100 different ingredients.
Okay, so do creatine help us build muscle faster?
Yeah, yeah. So creatine is I believe the most researched supplement ever. And so we have so much data on creatine that we know it's effective. Now, creatine for men is really about performance and building muscle. Like it has been shown that if you're eating right and it can lead to more strength. It pushes more water into the muscle cell, which allows you to be stronger, which in theory, you're lifting more weight, you're tearing more muscle, you're recovering, you're building more muscle at a faster pace, right? For women, they're now seeing a cognitive advantage that's happening. So a lot of women now are getting on creatine because there's a benefit of like brain health and really helping with things like dementia and whatnot. So there's the health benefits of muscle and lean muscle mass for women, but they're really seeing a connection with cognitive health too, which is it's really powerful. So I'm a firm believer in creatine. The one thing that I would say with creatine is always just try it first. It's not necessarily something you feel. It's not like an energy or anything like that. You'll notice it in your workouts, but just make sure you drink enough water because that creatine sometimes will suck that water into the muscle cell. You just need to make sure that you're hydrated right as you drink some water, which was good. I like how you did
Yeah, I was about to ask you a question, then you make me forget
that.
because I was listening to you. Okay, yeah. So suppose someone is taking 5 mg, okay, daily, and then they take it from 5 to 10. So does that also helps men with cognitive energy?
On what supplement? I'm sorry.
suppose someone is taking creatine of 5 mg every day, okay? So
Yeah, yeah.
that is consumed by the muscle. So if you increase that number to 10 grams, does that help with cognitive energy for men?
I haven't done a tremendous amount on the cognitive side for men. I'm assuming that there is some direct correlation with it. I mean, they've studied creatine up to like 50 grams a day for people type stuff, 30 grams, 40 grams, 50 grams. Most people are in the window of like 5 to 10 grams. I don't have it off the top of my head what the research was with how many grams the women were taking when they started getting that benefit, but most people are in that healthy range of 5 to 10 grams a day. And really, when you take creatine, it's not like a time sensitive thing.
Mhm.
You have some people in the bodybuilding space that believe like post workout is where you take it. I've tried it pre workout, post workout, before bed. I get the same benefits kind of wherever I put it. And so I think it's something, if you're doing 1 scoop or 2 scoops a day or 5 mg twice a day, once or twice a day, you're gonna get the long term benefit of it.
Yep, yep. And yeah, by mistake we are saying mg. It's gram.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we say 5 grams here, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah. Actually, it's gram. Okay.
yeah, it's gram. 5 milligrams is not much at all.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, brother. So, for our listeners who want to connect with you, get help from you, where can they go?
Instagram, you can go to Mr. Hitchfit. I have the largest calves focused inspired page in the world. So it's like helping guys get bigger calves that have skinny calves. I got a lot of dudes from India, Indonesia, Philippines, like that whole area, in Brazil, all over the place. So I help guys in that world. And then my name on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of those.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much for joining us, and it was really fun chatting with you.
Yeah, man. Take care, brother. Thank you.
Yep.